Hello, and welcome to Creative Magic You Can Do. My name is Joe Fields, and I'm going to teach you how to magically make things multiply or even transport themselves. Stick around, and I'll show you how. Hi, everybody. I'm about to teach you a wonderful trick that you can make at home. It uses a stamp album. Unfortunately, I made this one, but I neglected to put the stamps inside. As a matter of fact, if I go through it, you can see that it is completely empty. But I do have the stamps, and I've got lots of them. 101 Dalmatians, Barney, my daughter's favorite, Winnie the Pooh, and some dinosaurs. Unfortunately, I'm not in the mood to lick the stamps and place them in the album. So we're going to try to do it by magic. Would you like to help me?
Yeah.
Excellent. Would you do me a big favor and gather up the stamps? We're going to place them inside of this bag. So right ahead. I'm then going to attempt to make these stamps vanish. Simply tap it 3 times. And if we're lucky, the stamps will disappear. My goodness, I think it's worked. Look at that. The stamps indeed have vanished. Let's see if the second part has come true as well. If everything has worked, and we're very lucky, those stamps should have magically appeared inside of this book. And it seems to have worked. Stick around, and I'll show you how you can do that trick as well. And now for the explanation to the stamp album trick. This is an item that you can make for yourself at home, and it's not all that difficult to make. What you've got to do is cut out squares of oak-tag paper and bind them together, just as I've done with these. Next, you have to place stamps onto every other page. As you can see, the first pages have stamps on them, and the second ones do not. The third section has stamps, and the fourth section does not. And so on throughout the entire stamp album. The reason that you don't see the stamps in the beginning as I leaf through the pages is because of how they are cut. The first page has a diagonal cut in the corner over here. The second page has a diagonal cut in the corner on the bottom. And all you do is alternate back and forth. Page number 3 has a diagonal cut in the upper corner, while page number 4 has a diagonal cut in the bottom corner. And that holds true for each and every page. Top corner, the next page is a diagonal cut on the bottom corner. The next page has a diagonal cut on the top corner, and so on throughout the entire book. When I thumb through the pages, because of the diagonal cuts, you're actually seeing every other page. Every time I do this, 2 pages are going by together as one, creating the illusion that the book is empty. The next step is to make the stamps disappear and magically appear inside of the book. For that, I use a gimmicked paper bag. This bag has been gimmicked by placing a secret compartment inside. And I did that by cutting out a section of a paper bag and gluing it inside of this bag. You can see now that there is an extra secret compartment. To make the stamps disappear, I simply had my assistant drop the stamps inside of the secret compartment. Would you pick them up again for me, please? And I held the bag open in such a way that the only place the stamps could go would be inside of that secret compartment. At this point, I could say a magic word, snap my fingers, use whatever incantation I thought appropriate, and then claim that the stamps had vanished. To prove they're gone, I rip open the bag, showing that it is now empty. Of course, the stamps are in the secret compartment over here. But I don't show that. I simply crumple up the bag, toss it aside, and then show that the stamps have now appeared inside of the album. This time, as I leaf through the pages, I do it by holding it on the top, as opposed to the bottom, as I did in the beginning. You see, if I do it on the bottom, the pages appear empty. But if I now leaf through the pages, from the top, we're going to see the stamps. And once again, the reason is 2 pages go by together as one. So we see only the pages that contain the stamps. This is a wonderful trick. Don't pass it by, and I hope you have fun performing it. You guys ready to do some more great magic?
Yes.
Here's a wonderful trick. Could you help me, Chaselyn?
Yep.
Great. This is a trick done with sponges. As a matter of fact, I have one here. It's a magic sponge, and I can prove it. It actually does tricks. For example, I can make that sponge lie down by magic. Watch closely. You ready? Lie down. Look at that. It lied. You're not buying that, are you? Well, watch this. Play dead. No, I don't like that either. I'll tell you what. Let's do some real magic. Can I borrow your hand for a moment, please? What I'd like you to do is take this sponge and squeeze it very tightly. Can you do that for me, please? Yeah. Squeeze it tight. As a matter of fact, inside of my pocket, I have some magic dye. Andy, can you see the magic dust? Of course not. It's invisible. I'm going to sprinkle it on your hand. Do you feel that?
No.
What's the matter, sweetheart? You're not feeling well? Do you feel that?
Yeah.
You see, you're feeling better. As a matter of fact, the magic has already happened. Because I gave you that sponge, and if you turn your hand over slowly and open it up, you'll see that incredibly it's multiplied. Now holding 2 of those silly little sponges. Hey, do me a favor. Let me have your hand one more time. Squeeze them tight, turn your hand over, and I'll get some more magic dust. I'll sprinkle it on your hand. Did you feel it that time?
No.
Well, I think it's worked. Turn your hand over, open it up, and now you have lots of those little sponges. Andy, would you like me to teach you that?
Yeah.
I'll teach you, and I'll teach you as well in just a moment. Let me show you how that's done. What you're going to need is 6 pieces of sponge. Easy to find. Just go to the kitchen, get a sponge, and cut it into 6 pieces. You want them to be approximately the same size. Sponges work best because part of the reason this trick works is that sponges can be compressed into a small bundle, and that helps when you're presenting this trick. Now, I start out by having 4 of the sponges in my right pocket. I then take 1 of the sponges, I roll it up into a little ball, and I compress it here in my fingers. This is actually known as a finger palm. The hand is at rest in a natural position. As a matter of fact, if you were to look here at Andy's hand, you'll see what it looks like when a person's hand is naturally at rest. It's not closed into a tight fist like you're concealing something. It's held loosely in this fashion. When you do that, it's very easy to conceal the extra sponge in your fingers. Now, the first part I do for a little bit of, to get a few laughs. I tell them that it's going to lie down and I just blow on it. Sometimes they don't catch you and they wonder how it happened, although most of the times they see you blow on it. I then get on with the trick by asking an assistant to lend me their hand. Would you do so now, please? I tell them I'm going to give them the sponge, but in reality, I take the two sponges and I squeeze them together. Now, because they are made of sponge and are easy to compress, it's impossible to tell by feel that you're holding more than one. So I take them both, place them into the hand of the spectator, and gently close their fingers over the sponge. I then turn their hand over. The reason I turn their hand over is I don't want them opening prematurely and finding out that there's more than one sponge in their hand. They're less likely to do that if their hand has been turned over. I then reach into my pocket under the excuse of getting magic dust. While my hand is in there, I grab the other sponges. I compress them, place them into the finger palm position, and pretend to be holding the magic dust. I then sprinkle it on the hand of the spectator and inform them if they open their hand, they'll be in for quite a surprise. When they do, open your hand, please, they'll find a second sponge has appeared. Now, at this point, the spectators normally believe that the trick is finished, which gives you a perfect opportunity to load the extra sponges along with the first two. I simply reach over, pick up the two sponges, compress them, and add them to the ones that are hidden in the finger palm. I then place them back into the spectator's hand. Gently close their hand, turn it over, pretend to get more magic dust, sprinkle it on their hand, and when they open, they're in for an even bigger surprise because now there's a whole gaggle of sponges. I hope you enjoy that one. Come back and I'll show you some more in just a minute. It's always nice to be able to do magic with things that you find around the house. What kid didn't have marbles lying around when he was young? Andy, would you like to assist me? I need someone who can do some addition. Are you good at math? Okay, let's test you. Andy, I'm going to take this marble and place it inside of my hand. I'm going to take this marble, place it in my hand as well, and place this marble here inside of my pocket. Andy, if you were counting correctly, how many should I have in my hand?
2.
Now, Andy, let me start again. You see that leaves 1, 2, 3. Am I going too slow? Here, let me start again. Andy, this one goes in my hand, this one goes in my hand, and this one goes inside of my pocket. Andy, how many should that leave in my hand?
2.
I'm sorry, Andy. Look, that leaves 1, 2, and 3. Oh, the question's too hard. Look, one last time. I'll do it very slowly just for you. Andy, this one goes in my hand. These 2 go in my pocket. How many do you believe are inside of my hand?
1.
Andy, would you believe me if I told you there was 25? Well, there is. Watch. 25 cents. Now, Andy, stick around and I'll show you how that works. And I'll show you as well. This is a wonderful trick, and here's what you'll need in order to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4 marbles and a quarter. The extra marble is what allows you to do the trick. We're utilizing what is known as the one-ahead principle. Let me show you how it works in relation to this trick. The quarter is in my right pocket to begin with, and one of the marbles is secretly finger palmed here, inside of my fingers. The moves are actually very, very simple. I'll do it in slow motion and show you how it works. Marble number 1, I openly place inside of my left hand. Marble number 2, I place along with marble number 1, while at the same time releasing marble number 3, which is finger palm in the other hand. That action is covered by the fingers closing. In real time, it would look like this. I've just added 2 marbles to the one that was there previously. Once again, it looks like this. Remember, the fingers closing cover the fact that I'm adding an extra ball. I then take the 4th marble and pretend to place it in my pocket. In reality, when my hand comes out and rests on the table, it's concealing the 4th ball in the finger palm position. I then asked Andy how many balls he thought I was holding, and he answered 2. Very slowly, I informed him and showed him that I actually had 3 balls. I then offered to repeat the trick, and I did the exact same motions. Ball number 1 was openly placed in the hand. Ball number 2 was placed in the hand, while at the same time secretly adding the 4th ball, leaving me 3, although the audience is only aware of 2. I took ball number 4, and this time I actually placed it inside of my pocket. Of course, when my hand came out, I had secretly picked up a quarter and finger palmed that instead. That would look like this, over here. Once again, I let my hand rest naturally, finger palming the quarter, and I asked Andy how many balls I was holding. Once again, he answered 2, and I was able to show him that no, magically, a 3rd ball had appeared. I then said I was going to do it one final time, but I was going to change it a little bit. This time, I took the 1st ball and placed it in the hand. And at that point, I switched the marble for the quarter. It's a very simple move. Whatever item you're going to place into the hand, you draw it back, and you allow the item that's finger palmed to go into the hand instead. If I were to do it quickly, it would look like this. I've just switched the marble for the quarter. But I could do it vice versa. I could say, watch, I'm going to place the quarter in my hand, and I actually, at that point, switched it for the marble. In performance, it would look like this. I take the marble, place it in my hand, and take these 2 marbles and place them in my pocket. In reality, I'm depositing all 3 into my pocket. I then asked the question, Andy, how many marbles am I holding? He answered 1. But I said, no, I actually have 25. But not 25 marbles, 25 cents. That's 2 in the hand, 1 in the pocket. I hope you liked it. I'm going to teach this one to you. Now, the first thing you'll need is a penny. I happen to have one here. This one is that's a 1998 penny. Now, along with this penny, I need a box, which I have here inside of my pocket. Andy, I plan on making this penny travel invisibly into the box. I simply snap, and it vanishes. Andy, if the magic is with us, the penny has reappeared inside. Would you please open up that box, take off the rubber band, and look inside? And inside is a packet. Inside of that packet is the coin. Now, Andy, stick around, and I'll show you, and you as well, how you can do that trick. Now, here's what you're going to need in order to make this trick. It's not difficult, and it's worth the effort. I have an empty box of matches and a tube that I constructed from a piece of oak tag. I just cut a square and folded it so we had a small tube. And to that, I taped a pin. I made a little envelope out of a coin wrapper, which the tube is placed into. Then these are placed inside of the box, and the cover goes in place. I then took a rubber band and secured it even further by placing the rubber band onto the box. This was pinned to the inside of my jacket. You're also going to need a coin. The way to make the coin vanish is to do a finger palm. And it's not difficult. All I do is curl my fingers and pretend to place the coin from this hand into this hand. The coin is actually held here at the base of the fingers. I then said I had a box inside of my pocket. Now, pretend this is attached inside of my jacket. As I reached in, I simply dropped the coin into the tube. The penny then dropped through and into the packet inside. I then pulled on the box, which disengaged it from the tube, and I placed it on the table. I then pretended that the coin vanished from my hand and reappeared in the box. At that point, I allowed Andy to first remove the rubber bands and then open the box to find the coin inside of the packet. Well, I hope you like that, and I hope you have fun doing it. Well, that's all for now. I really hope you enjoyed the material that was on this tape. Remember, practice, 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 and enjoy performing these tricks. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.